So the Mortal Kombat film came out over a week ago. Saw it not too long ago. For the most part, I was impressed by what I saw in the sense where it ended up being a better film than I expected. Some people are probably going to go on record and say that the film is too woke, but I don't know. If you look at, Mortal Kombat and you look at the storyline, the history and all that stuff, Katana, being I guess the main, protagonist or whatever kind of makes the most sense since she's the one that had the most history with Shao Kahn. Now I know Johnny Cage is supposed to be the main character, at least that's what we were led to believe. But you watch this, and you would think that he was like the main Dutragon as opposed to the main protagonist. And I honestly feel like his story was done pretty well because it seemed believable, at least by I get at least by like Mortal Kombat or video game standards, it seemed believable, and like nothing in this film really felt forced at all. Like everything felt organic. The comedy felt organic, the darkness, the grittiness, the delivery with the dialogue was great. The pacing was good. Um, yeah, there were some things in this film that I did not expect. I didn't expect Kano becoming a good guy. I didn't expect, Jade becoming, a good guy towards the end. Baraka wasn't he wasn't, rotten to the core in this film. He was actually like, pretty decent for the most part. And I don't know, people are still upset about Jade and how, she looked in this film and all that stuff, but I don't know. It is what it is. Maybe she'll look that way for a reason to make, Katana look more appealing. And the same can be said for Sonya Blade. I feel like in terms of like looks, she was toned down as well to make Katana look better, but I don't know. I found it kind of upsetting that Melina was not in this film, but I think she had gotten killed off in the film from 2021. She wasn't in this. Reptile wasn't in this, but I still feel like they told a great story for the most part. The fight scenes were cool. The best fight scene came towards the end in the Nether Realm. The fight scene between Liu Kang and Kung Lao was cool. The way Kung Lao died was brutal. Um, they actually made Kung Lao and like Raiden more useful in this film than what I've seen in like some of the older films. Because I remember, I remember in the older films, Raiden was damn near useless in Annihilation, and the same could be said from the '95 film. Um, I think Kung Lao was dead in like both of those films, if I'm not mistaken. But Kung Lao being brought back and being evil and him basically doing serious damage to Raiden that was probably like the only moment where like Kung Lao really got a chance to shine before he got brutally killed by Liu Kang, which is just sad. Like literally the whole story involving Kung Lao is just tragic. It's just him dying all the time because I think originally, I believe in the first film from '95, Shang Tsung had killed him, and then in the I want to say Mortal Kombat 9, Shao Kahn killed him, and then he got killed again in this film by Liu Kang. So it's just I don't know, it's just brutal, and it just sucks to be um, Kung Lao in the MK universe. Um, the way Johnny Cage was portrayed in this film was pretty cool. He was like an actor who pretty much like he was a karate fighter turned actor, and basically he was reluctant to be in this tournament, and then I guess he had to convince himself that he still had it. And then there were people who knew him, like people from different realms who knew him, like Baraka and Kano, and they actually were fans of his, and they eventually became his allies. I thought that was a pretty, nice touch, and I don't know, it added some light to this film that was overly dark and gritty. I like the fight scene between Sindel and Sonya in the pit stage from Mortal Kombat 1, I want to say. Um yeah, I feel like the fight scenes and this film captured the vibe of the series perfectly, captured the atmosphere and, everything just like perfectly for the most part. The pacing was just perfect. It didn't go too fast and it didn't drag on forever. Um, yeah, I honestly feel like this film I feel like is better than like the Mortal Kombat 1 game from 2023. Um, it was weird seeing Liu Kang be like the third most important character in like a Mortal Kombat film or just like, anything Mortal Kombat related because historically speaking, Liu Kang has always been the main protagonist and it's kind of strange not seeing him in that spot. But obviously Johnny Cage is a more popular name than Liu Kang. Um, Katana has more history with the main villain. And, when the film ended, I thought there was gonna be, like, some type of, cliffhanger ending that was gonna set up a 3rd film, but, that didn't happen, but we probably will get, like, another film, sometime years from now, but yeah, honestly, this is one of the, best video game related films that I've seen in quite some time. I feel like this film personally was better than the Super Mario Galaxy film that came out, I wanna say back in April or whatever. But, um but yeah, I mean, I honestly feel like, this film on a scale from 1 to 10, I'd probably give it like a 7 or a 7.5 because I feel like more could have been done with this film. And I feel like the absence of certain characters kind of, harmed it in some ways, but not to a point where like it ruined everything, So, I give you my rating on this particular film, but then I went to Rotten Tomatoes and I see what people had to say about it. As far as Rotten Tomatoes is concerned, they gave this film 65%. But if you look at the popcorn meter right now, it's at 88%. So a lot of people actually like this film. I was one of those people. And I paid damn near $14 for the ticket to see the film. And honestly, seeing it made my day a hell of a lot better. And you look at this film, it looks like something that would belong on Netflix, but we know that, it's probably not going to go to Netflix because Paramount bought out Warner Brothers. And I think we're still waiting for the merger to finalize. So this film will most likely be available on like Paramount Plus like months from now or before the end of the year. But but yeah, the Mortal Kombat 2 film was pretty cool, and if you haven't seen it yet, you should go check it out in theaters right now.